Sorry, what is that? I couldn't quite hear you. Oh, it's a beautiful cane, you say? Oh, I think so too. My wallet? Well, I don't have anything on me. Surely you wouldn't try to rob an old man, would you? What about now? Hey, welcome back to my workshop. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at this sword cane that I got from Swordist.com. Purchased it myself with my own money. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what they could improve on for the future. So let's get into it. All right, so first things we're going to talk about here is the ordering process. The ordering process of this sword was super simple. Swordist.com has a pretty good website for that. It gives you lots of different options, lots of things to look at and choose. One thing that I did have issues with is that the actual ordering of it had a little bit bigger of an issue. The order didn't want to go through on my end, so it kept stuck on being stuck on the loading screen and not saying anything went through. So I tried refreshing, ordering again multiple times, and it actually went through 5 times, which they caught really quickly and refunded me immediately. So that was really good. So that was a little bit of an annoyance, but wasn't too bad. The sword itself comes from a factory in China called Hanbon Forge. It says it's Damascus steel, which there is a Damascus pattern on it. I don't know if you can see that at all, but there is a very faint Damascus pattern on it. They say it's a combination of 1095 and 1065 steel. I don't really have any way of testing that, but the pattern is very, very faint. It looks like they probably didn't do any etching at all after they've made the sword. So that's a little bit disappointing, seeing that there was no etching there. The website itself says that it is a superior quality, which means that it's similar to an entry-level sword, but that there's higher attention to detail. The cane itself has a nice little rubberized tip right on the end here to give you some traction against the ground, which is nice. The cane itself, I'm not entirely certain what it is made out of. On the inside here, there is a little bit of brass, I guess, collet and ring for the locking mechanism. The cane itself might be made out of solid wood, but I don't know what wood it is. There is obviously a seam right down the line, right down the middle here, for what looks to be some sort of wooden veneer that they put on top of it, or plastic veneer. I'm not entirely sure. I could test that, but that would probably end up destroying the sword or the cane itself. It could also be that that's just a halfway point between the 2 sections of the cane itself when it's assembled, because I find it hard to believe that they would assemble this in one piece. But either way, it is hefty, it's sturdy. It would obviously work very well as a cane, and it has been. I've used it a little bit. Even though I don't have any issues or anything like that, so it should be fine. One really annoying thing that I personally dislike, but your mileage might vary. Right here is this beautiful bronze dragon that looks like it's been milled in 2 separate pieces and then aligned together, but the alignment is really poor. Like, it's obvious enough that this was the first thing I noticed when I picked this sword up, this alignment on each side here. So not the worst, but it was really obvious to me. Same thing at the bottom of it. There's also that alignment edge, or the edge alignment is just off. Now, this is a really, really little nitpick in my opinion, but I did notice it. So, you know, your mileage might vary on that. But as for the actual like hilt, the cane end of it, this was either one solid piece or they just did a much better job of matching that alignment, because it is flawless on the top here. The handle itself is really nice and comfortable. It fits nicely in the palm of the hand. It doesn't slip. The handle appears to be made out of another just solid wood. Not too bad. I don't really have that many issues with that. The edge of it itself says that it's factory sharpened. Sharp is a word you could use. Some parts of it are much sharper than others. Like right here, I think is the sharpest section on the blade, and that would probably cut something. But the top, the bottom, there's like very few spots on it that actually have an edge. I don't know if you can notice this, but the actual blade itself is a little bit warped, I think due to the cane. It's not the end of the world, but that is something to look out for. Steel itself, I don't know if it's hardened, so we will test that on a section of the blade that I don't really care about. So we'll get my edge files and get that started right away, because I am really interested to know if this is actually hardened steel. So I'm going to use my hardness testing files here. We're going to start off with 40. So 40 is generally mild steel. So I don't know how well this is going to translate on being seen, but we're just going to choose a little section right here and just try to make a mark in it. Okay, so no mark at 40. So at the very least, it's not 40. We're going to try to 45 now. All right, still no mark at 45. That's good. Now we're going to get into a little bit harder at 50. All right, no marks at 50. If it looks like there's any scuffs, that's just because of the oil that's on the actual blade itself. That's not an issue. All right, try 55 now. Oh, I think it is, yes. So I don't know if you can see that, but there is some scratching, very surface level here, but at the very least, it is not 55 Rockwell hardness. So 55, which the actual sword failed at, is pretty good. So most swords I've found that are made out of hardened steel are anywhere between 50 to 52, somewhere around there. Some swords with like a differential hardening will have higher. So like a katana, for example, with a differentially hardened blade will have an edge of like 58 to 60 with a spine of around 40. So this is not bad, 55 hardness. It should be enough to hold an edge, but not break if ever, you used it on anything. Which, it's a sword, so you're only going to use it on like targets or anything like that. So that's good to know. The actual weight distribution on it isn't too bad. It's right about here, which is close enough to the handle that it's not going to feel bad in the hand. So that is good to see as well. Very, very good weight distribution there. So if I had any etching fluid or etching acid on me, I would test that out, but I don't have any right now. One thing that I'll say that I really disliked about this is when it came out of the box, it was slathered in some sort of oil, which I removed. It was dripping, basically. And it smelled like WD-40. I don't know what that is or what it was, but I replaced it with my own mix of beeswax and linseed oil. It's my own mix that I make for my own stuff. That will keep the water away from it and moisture off. I'll have to do that, repeat it multiple times, but it should be fine for now. I'm pretty impressed with this thing. The locking mechanism is fairly nice. It's just really simple. It's just a little push in here with a hook on it. And it's on, I don't know if you can see inside here, but there are 2 holes, so you can sheath it any side. It will hook on it. It doesn't matter which way you put it in. It will hook and stick. So just to show you that off. Yeah, so it doesn't matter which way you sheath it, it is good. All in all, I am pretty impressed with this thing. All right, so shipping. It comes in this giant foam package. It is really taped up. It was impossible for me to actually figure out where the edge was. I don't know if this is one solid piece of foam or not, but I couldn't find an edge on it. So when I had to cut it, I just cut the top. So I broke through the top. It also then is stuck in with this bubble wrap just to protect it from any more bumping. This box itself is, I'm expecting for 99% of all shipments, this will be fine. But if this were ever to get like bent or thrown, I'm quite worried that it would break. So actually we can test that out. I'm just gonna slam it against my knee and figure it and find out in a little bit. Just see how well it would break. But other than that, it seems to be good. All right, we're just gonna test out this box here and see. So this is the box it comes in. I'm gonna see if I can just break it over my knee. That's actually not too bad. Let's try a little bit harder. All this tape is probably helping keep it in place. Okay, yeah. So that was a pretty good hit with my knee there, which makes me worried that if anything bad were to happen in shipment, this foam would just break. It'd be nice to see it come in maybe like a wooden box, a wooden crate, with some foam packaging on the inside. But until they have issues with it, it's probably not going to be something that they consider. The cane sword also came with a very beautiful bag. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Came out with this very nice bag to store it in. The bag itself isn't the highest quality. It's fine. There's really not much else you could say about that. It's I don't know, some sort of fake embroidered silk. It's stretchy a little bit, but it is nice. It keeps it away from dust and stuff, so that'll be nice. As for the sword blade itself, the height, it is nice and long enough that I can put some weight on it. I think this would function really nicely as an actual cane. The rubberized tip resists slipping. I tested it on some ice in the backyard a little bit, and it did not do as well, but it's ice, so you know, you don't really have anything to do that unless there's like a spike on the end of it, which I can see why they wouldn't have done that. But other than that, this thing is very nice. It moves well in my hand. There is no finger guard, so if you thrust into anything, you could risk slicing your fingers. But there is the nice swell of the hilt at the back here to prevent it from flying out of your hand. It is quite nice. I enjoy this. Has some nice movement. Has a nice distal taper, the geometry of it. It's thicker at the bottom, thinner at the top. And it does bend fairly easily. I can show you just with my hand how easily this bends. So this does bend quite easily, which is not uncommon for a sword of this size. It is fairly small, but the ridges at the top do add a little bit more strength. So would I recommend this cane sword from Swordus? You know what? If you're on the lookout for something really neat, something really cool, and it's legal to carry around in your country or state, province, wherever you are, then yeah, I think this is honestly a pretty good purchase. I'm happy with it. It's really cool. And if Canadian laws allowed me to have this around, I would just use it as a cool cane, a cool prop piece. As it is, this is gonna unfortunately have to remain a very cool display sword up on my shelves. It's gonna go unused, unfortunately, but it is really cool. I am very happy with this. So good job, Swordus and Hanbon Forge, the factory that makes this. I think you did a good job, and I think it was under $290 when I purchased this Canadian, so that's like $220 American. Shipping was included. There were no tariffs. There was no customs fees or anything like that. Shipping was fast. From the time they shipped it to the time I received it was, I think, less than a week. So this was very quick to get. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think this is a good purchase. I'm going to be keeping it, and it's going to be on my wall of swords. So thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any other suggestions for things I can do in the future.